Hello, everybody. Scott Markowitz here with Ryan and Scott Media. And I just wanted to talk very quickly to you about the difference, the distinction between an expectation and an agreement. Very quickly, what I have discovered in my business, in my life, in fact, is that there's a huge difference between those two things, but very often we settle for expectations and we overlook the power and the importance of agreements. So, on the one hand, a lot of times we have expectations that, uh, our coworkers or other people, our clients sometimes, or our vendors, we expect them to do certain things. And this also certainly travels over to our personal lives, right? Sometimes our spouses or our significant others, we have expectations and we want them to do things just because that's what we want. But we don't always have that discussion with them to transform a desire from the realm of expectation into something more. And before I talk about what that something more is, I would like to kind of comment a little bit more about uh, what you can get from your expectations. There's really two different things that you could potentially get from carrying or having an expectation. The first thing is, well, that person or that entity has met my expectation. Okay, great. They've met your expectation. No big deal. That's what you expected. You expected it. You got it. No big deal. It's just kind of meh, right? But the second thing that can happen when you're carrying an expectation is that the expectation is not met. Then what happens? Oh man, now you're mad. Now you're upset. How could they do this to you? What are they thinking? They don't respect me. All kinds of terrible ideas and thoughts will start to flood your mind when an expectation is not met. But the good news is that you can avoid all that by simply recognizing your expectation to begin with and transferring that into the world of agreement. Okay? So if you have an expectation, if you notice that you are harboring an expectation, the next step would be to try to go and talk to that person or entity and make sure that you create a space where you two can agree on what's going to happen. You might want a certain specific outcome. They might not be able to do that. Right? So here's an example from my life. I used to work for a company called Alchemy X, which is a fantastic company, and they're one of the largest integrated media companies in the world, and or not the world, but in the United States. And I did a lot of TV development work for them. And one time, one of my managers came to me, and they were upset. They were like, we expected you to have this pilot finished this week, and it doesn't appear that you're going to hit that mark. And I said, you know, um, I'm really sorry. The schedule that was given to me had me finishing several weeks out. So what we can do from this point is we can kind of decide together. Like, this is where the project is, and so, like, where do you want it to be? Like, we can, I was expecting it to be 100% in about 2 weeks from now. Is it acceptable if it's about 80% of where I was expecting, uh, and I can have that by the end of this week, and then I talked about what that 80% would look like, and we were able to kind of negotiate from there. And once we had that agreement, then things were good between us. Everything was happy. And it turned out that we were able to deliver a product that everybody was happy with. I was, as an editor, I'm never going to be 100% satisfied, right? So, but I was happy with the point I was able to get it to within the time frame that they needed. My dogs are barking, but that's the difference between an expectation and an agreement. And so I certainly hope that you guys, uh, you know, can maybe make some use out of that distinction. That's kind of the style that I use for working with my clients that I'm coaching. There's a lot of value in creating these distinctions between certain concepts. Because like a good coach really is not there to do things for you or to tell you what to do. A good coach is there to kind of just shift your perspective, to show you, just a different angle, a different way to view things. And so using using metaphors and using distinctions, and just questioning. Those are the things that make a really great coach. And if you have any questions for me, if there's anything that you'd like to discuss about maybe starting your own business, starting your own photography and video production business, I would love to hear from you. And yeah, distinctions, metaphors. There's a big difference between expectations and agreements. And until next time, I'll catch you later.